Hey everyone, it's Chris here from Everyday Survival Gear, and today we are back with another Budget Bonanza flashlight. We should start a segment called the Budget Bonanza flashlights. That sounds pretty cool. So today we have the Alonefire X29. It's a small compact EDC that runs on a 16340 and it's super cheap. So I'm going to do this video a little bit different because I noticed my viewer retention is like pretty short in minutes. So I know not a lot of you want to watch a whole video, so I'm going to try and summarize it at the start. And I'm also going to now continue talking and talking and talking until everyone goes to sleep. Now, but on all seriousness, yeah, I'm just going to write a few pros and cons, and then we'll still take the light apart and we'll definitely go outside for some beam shots after I just wasted like 30 seconds. Okay, so before I give you the pros and cons, we'll just run over some of the specs. So it's using a Cree XPG, well that's what Alonefire says. It does actually look like a real XPG, and I have seen quite a few of these. But it's also got a hard dome, so I'm not 100% sure if it is real. But either way, it's a cold white LED, about 6500K. It's capable of 315 lumens on its highest mode, and 132 lumens on its lowest mode. And it's only got 3 modes, so it goes high, low, and then strobe. So it's quite a bad UI. And I will say this right now, I didn't know this until right before when I tested it. It does have PWM on the low mode, which is pretty shit. I'll just be honest. That's pretty disappointing. Usually like Alonefire make pretty decent lights, so I don't know what's going on there. So the awesome thing about the Alonefire X29 is its size. It's super small. It's only 22 grams, so really light. Considering it's a 16340 flashlight, it is super tiny. Look at that. And it's only 62 mils long and 21 mils wide. And you know, the build quality overall is pretty good. Like I can't complain overall. It looks cool. It's a cool looking flashlight. It's got a reverse clip, a side switch here. There's no lockout because the driver is pretty basic. The tail threads are unanodized, so you can't undo that. It is kind of a clone of the S1R that came out a few years ago, only a lot smaller, a lot cheaper, not as bright. But I'll overlay a video somewhere here in the video of these two doing their output tests, and you'll see that the S1R steps down from its high mode in like 4 seconds, while after a minute, the Alonefire still holds its 300 lumens. It's pretty cool. So with that 315 lumens, it throws 2608 CD. So for such a small flashlight, the throw isn't actually bad. You know, you can always change out the LED. You can find 10mm LEDs on K-Domain and on AliExpress, so it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so now I wrote up a list of pros and cons. So first over, we'll go over the pros. So it's cheap, you know, as I said, about $10 US, even cheaper if you can find it. It is pretty well built, like the threads are all nice, they all work well, they're well cut. I haven't had any problems with it, and I have been EDCing it. And it did come with a CR123A also. Small and compact, it is super small, probably one of the smallest 16340 flashlights on the market, so keep that in mind. Mod friendly, so it's going to be hard to get a driver to fit in there because the driver is 14 mils and the switch sits exactly on the driver, but I'm pretty sure with a little bit of persuasion you can make something fit, and I'll try and make one fit myself. Bright enough for its size. 315 lumens for a flashlight of this size is actually pretty good. Actually, I already took it apart earlier and I put all this dirt in there. It didn't come like this. Looks cool. It does look pretty cool. It does look like the Olight, kind of a rip-off, but it still does look pretty cool. It's got a reverse clip, so you can stick it on your hat and use it as a headlamp, and you can high mount it in your pocket, which is pretty cool. The cons, which you'll see me explain more if you keep on watching the video, is it does have a plastic reflector, but it does have a glass lens. There's no O-ring at the front here, so although they do rate it to be somewhat IPX rated, it's not really going to be that waterproof, but there is an O-ring on the back here. I'm probably going over this shit twice, but you know. The driver is meh. Like, the UI is pretty shit, and it does have PWM, so keep that in mind. But yeah, no kind of options. I haven't tested if there's reverse polarity protection or anything, but at this price I highly doubt it. Cold white LED and possibly fake, although I did say Cree XPG, like as I said, it could also possibly be fake. It could be, I have seen lattice bright LEDs that do look like this, but to me it does look pretty real. Just the hard silicon dome, maybe it's not. So that's pretty much the pros and the cons there. Now, when I take apart the light, it's going to be a different background because I already had to film this once, and the camera was like flipping around. It was upside down. It was actually like vertical, and when I change it from vertical to horizontal, you lose a lot of pixels, and I hate that because the video looks like uneven. So I just decided to refilm it. So the taking apart part and the beam shots, they all worked pretty normal. So let's get stuck into that. If not, skip now to the beam shots. All right, guys. Oh, and like and subscribe, please. Now to get the light undone, it's kind of a floating pill that sits on a shelf. So you gotta undo this part here, and then the pill will just pop out by itself. So it'll be best just to get it started with something and then just spin your way around. And it should just pop out like so. So it does actually have a proper pill with a proper shelf. Fair enough, it's not screwed in there, but it's not too bad. The only thing that isn't great is the LED is a 14mm size, and the driver is also a 14mm size, so it could be a little bit harder to find parts for that. At least for the LED and the driver. I know you can get 14mm drivers, but LEDs, you can easily get the 10mm size MC PCBs that'll fit in here easy. Here talking about size, giggity. The lens and the reflector are about 15mm each. So we can just pop out the driver here, just have a quick look. And there we go. You can just see just a simple basic driver, nothing too fancy there. Just a few resistors to drop the current and a capacitor and the controller there. So it's not great, but you know, if you look at the back here, it does have a proper pill shelf. So if you did want to mod this, I think it would be a cool little light to mod, considering that it is so small and tiny. That's the LED there. It's supposed to be a XPG or XPG2. I just touched the dome and the dome's hard, and I never touched a XPG2 dome that's hard. So probably it could be fake. I'm not 100% sure on that. But if we have a look here, you can see it does look pretty real. So I'm not sure. But most of the domes that I've taken off these XPGs were not hard. They were pretty soft on the original Cree ones. Alright guys, now we've got the Alonefire X29 on for some beam shots. Only a measly 315 lumens, but as you can see, it does a pretty good job of lighting up the backyard. Although not overly extremely bright, it is actually pretty good. And it can sustain this output for quite a few minutes without overheating. It only weighs 22 grams, so you know, like, you can't expect 10,000 lumens, sir. Well, actually, some people really do, but they're just being very unrealistic. Like, you got to expect, you know, I'd be happy a light that weighs 22 grams. This is great output. So we had to start on high mode, unfortunately, because it starts on high. Then we cycle mode. I'm actually getting PWM now, but when I first tried this light, I didn't actually get any PWM. So not sure if I've done something there or if it's just the way it is. To be honest, PWM does really suck. So I wouldn't really use this mode. It makes this light a little bit harder to recommend now that it's got PWM. And then you got your blinky, which has no PWM, which is pretty weird. And then we're back to the high mode. So you got to cycle modes, which is pretty crap. But then again, you know, for the price that you're paying, it's not really a killer. If it was like a $50 light and they had a UI like that, I'd be pretty disappointed. But considering it's under 10 US bucks, it's not overly bad. So just to compare, I just charged this light, the Olight S1R, and we'll cycle modes and we'll go to the turbo mode. So there it is, that's the 1000 lumen mode, and that is literally how fast it steps down. The battery should be fully charged. It's not showing me red, but it fights me. Thinking I can double click and get straight to turbo. There we go, that's a turbo mode, and how fast is it going to step down? And there we go. So like you guys saw, the Olight S1R is physically bigger than the Alonefire X29. So we've got the Alonefire on here to the left, and we'll turn on the S1R here to the right. You can see it's like definitely much brighter. I don't even think that's not even the highest mode. You can go one more mode and you can see it's definitely much brighter, less grainy on the video. But then the Olight just steps down. And that's why I have never used this light after I reviewed it. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool that it was 1000 lumens in a small package, but that 1000 lumens, it's unusable really. Last but not least, we've got the Convoy T4 right now. I've upgraded this to a XHP 50, and it puts out about 70 more lumens. It's doing about 500 lumens now on 2 AA's, which is bloody awesome. Like, you can just pick up AA's from the shelf and put it in there, and you get 500 lumens. And here is the Alonefire here. So, you know, it actually looks like a more cold white tint from the Alonefire. So we'll put the Alonefire X29 on by itself. You can see, although it might look as bright on the video, it's much more grainy, and that's how you can tell that it's nowhere near as bright. And that's the T4 there. You can see the T4, although the beam is much wider, that it's much brighter. So we'll turn off the Convoy T4. This is just the Alonefire right now. I mean, overall, I think, like, I don't know. Now it's got the PWM, like, I'll still recommend it, and if there's a driver that you can find, that'll be great. I'll have to look for one myself. You know, the LED you can straight upgrade, because you can always sand down the 16mm LED to fit. It does have a proper shelf, although the shelf isn't great. It is pretty thin and small. It only weighs 22 grams, so, like, what are you kind of going to expect? The reflector is plastic, but for under 10 US bucks, and it comes with a CR123 in the pack, it's actually pretty hard to beat. So although it does have a lot of flaws, not all of them are really like a deal breaker overall. Anyway guys, I've probably been blabbering on now for like 40 minutes, so I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.